Let's get right into this. Welcome to this Executive Intelligence Briefing, where we're going to take a really deep dive into a remarkably sophisticated piece of industrial infrastructure. Today, this explainer is focused on exactly how the 905 Wood Digital Refinery is operationalizing frontier artificial intelligence to definitively secure Ontario's industrial leadership within the global circular bioeconomy. And I want to be clear right off the bat. We are not just talking about basic waste management here. What we are analyzing is the deployment of heavy, edge compute capabilities to build what is known as the Sentient Bridge. Think of this as a highly critical digital and logistical pathway. It's designed to connect the sheer, unpredictable chaos of unregulated construction waste directly to the intensely stringent, high-purity requirements of the advanced pyrogenic biocarbon market. It's a massive leap forward, and we're going to break down exactly how they're pulling it off.
Here's our roadmap for today's briefing. We'll start with the cross-border waste crisis, move into the hardware and AI architecture, explore the Sentient Bridge workflow, unpack the regulatory framework and compliance, detail the business logistics and billing, and finally look at circular bioeconomy leadership.
Starting with Section 1, the cross-border waste crisis. To really understand the urgency of this definitive solution, we have to look at the sheer financial gravity of the situation on the ground. At a massive financial scale, leveraging a verified clean wood class saves precisely $1,053 per 144-yard mothership load just in circular levy avoidance. By utilizing advanced computational verification to definitively prove that a load consists entirely of clean wood, the system completely insulates haulers from exorbitant mixed waste fees. Without this kind of intense technological intervention, heavy industry operators are basically leaving themselves financially exposed to rapidly escalating penalties. And those penalties add up incredibly fast.
And honestly, the macro environment is only getting more hostile by the minute. We are currently looking at a massive 3.46 million ton friction point at the Ontario-Michigan waste corridor. Right now, Michigan's governor is proposing an enormous landfill tipping fee hike, jumping from just 36 cents all the way up to $5 a ton. The explicit goal there, to deter imported trash. At the exact same time, you have these looming USMCA tariffs threatening the duty-free commodity status of cross-border shipments. The traditional model of waste disposal is quite literally breaking down. The financial risks for moving unverified, undocumented waste are escalating so rapidly that continuing without an autonomous digital compliance layer isn't just risky, it's practically fiscal negligence.
In this volatile geopolitical environment, the risks you face are highly specific and completely unforgiving. Missing documentation at the border, that immediately yields full tariff exposure, because customs simply cannot computationally verify the waste's origins. Furthermore, incorrect country of origin determinations can unknowingly disqualify entire shipments. You're left with trucks stranded at the border, bleeding capital by the hour. And we absolutely must factor in Article 9 of the bilateral transboundary agreements, which requires comprehensive 100% financial assurance for transportation insurance. A single paperwork error can trigger an absolute cascade of liabilities.
Moving on to Section 2, Hardware and AI Architecture.
To solve this intense regulatory nightmare, 905 Wood isn't relying on fallible human auditors with clipboards. Instead, they deploy an operationalized, interlocking matrix of frontier AI models. Think of this as a synchronized orchestra of intelligence. You've got Gemini 3.1 Pro and Gemini 3 Flash handling complex multimodal intake and continuous regulatory monitoring in real time. Meanwhile, Claude Sonnet 4.6 and Claude Opus 4.6 step in to manage the highly complex document generation and compliance parsing. Finally, GPTOS 120B handles the deep deductive reasoning required to ensure absolute accuracy in load classification. This isn't just a basic algorithm. It's the world's most advanced artificial intelligence processing vast amounts of compliance data instantly and flawlessly.
But here's the thing. AI models are only as good as the physical hardware running them. This is where the physical engineering of this platform truly shines. This immense compute capability is pushed directly to the bin utilizing a deeply integrated hardware and OS core. The whole system runs on the Google Pixel 10 Pro, powered by the next-generation Tensor G5 processor, all operating seamlessly on the Android 16 operating system. Now, to ensure these massive AI models can actually run in austere remote environments, because, let's face it, construction lots rarely have great Wi-Fi, the engineering team utilizes advanced turbo-quant compression combined with the light RTI stack. This guarantees flawless edge execution with zero cloud latency. In plain English, the AI works instantly right there in a remote dirt lot, even if there's absolutely no cell service to speak of.
This robust hardware architecture allows operators to maintain unprecedented deep visibility and rapid execution across incredibly complex geographic zones. By actively managing cryptographic data as trucks navigate these convoluted regional and international networks, the system ensures that every single ounce of material is digitally tracked, verified, and secured long before it ever approaches an international border checkpoint.
Let's shift gears to Section 3, the Sentient Bridge workflow.
So, the crucial question is how all this underlying technology actually interacts with the physical world. Let's trace the physical and digital path. The 905 Wood Digital Refinery workflow kicks off right at the bin with Step 1 Edge AI classification, immediately and accurately categorizing the raw materials as they are deposited. This is instantly followed by Step 2, real-time verification, which ensures the load mathematically aligns with strict regulatory standards. Step 3 leverages that massive AI matrix we talked about for the automated generation of the certificate of origin. And finally, Step 4 delivers the seamless digital refinery application workflow UI/UX, which synthesizes all this complex data into clear, unalterable output PDF documentation features. It's an airtight process from start to finish.
Let's look at the strict chronological timeline for this workflow. It begins at minute 1 with a highly structured request for quote, or RFQ, which triggers the initial drop-off. By hour 24, the bin is loaded exclusively with clean wood. At hour 48, the Edge AI compliance gate locks down, cryptographically securing the classification. By day 3, this system entirely bypasses traditional, inefficient transfer stations, moving the verified materials direct to BioHub inside a massive 144-yard walking floor mothership trailer.
Now, every technical feature, every piece of hardware, and every AI model we've discussed so far forms a structural pillar of what is brilliantly termed the Sentient Bridge. This perfectly defines the overarching thesis of this entire operation. Artificial intelligence is no longer just some optional optimization tool. It is the fundamental, absolute requirement for bridging the gap between chaotic, unregulated construction waste and the intensely stringent, high-purity demands of the advanced pyrogenic biocarbon market. You simply cannot participate in this new economy without it. And this comprehensively destroys the old way of doing things. We are completely replacing slow, manually drafted, error-prone paper manifests that basically invite U.S. customs delays and heavy tariff penalties. The new paradigm, entirely driven by the Digital Refinery, generates a perfectly formatted, unalterable digital pass. Utilizing those advanced output PDF documentation features, it creates a cryptographic key in plain English that effortlessly and legally opens the border gate. No guesswork, no human error.
Which brings us to Section 4, Regulatory Framework and Compliance.
All of this unalterable documentation has to withstand intense governmental scrutiny. That's why the system inherently and computationally aligns with foundational legal structures. Most notably, we're talking about strict adherence to the Ontario Government OREG 347 legislation regarding general waste management. It simultaneously maps directly to USMCA Chapter 4 requirements to maintain crucial duty-free commodity status. By embedding compliance protocols for RPRA and the Environmental Protection Act, the AI effectively converts highly complex, multi-jurisdictional compliance evidence into audit-ready diversion passes. This definitively proves the material's exact origin and its contamination-free status to any regulatory body that asks.
And we have to be precise here. According to official definitions from the Auditor General of Ontario, true waste diversion isn't just about having good intentions. Separating non-hazardous materials for actual legal diversion requires extremely strict structural adherence. The 905 Wood platform doesn't just encourage this adherence, it enforces it computationally at the source. It ensures that every single load meets the exact statutory definition of diversion before a truck even starts its engine. The economic mandate for this extreme level of compliance is incredibly stark when you look at it visually. Because the Edge AI precisely categorizes the material, the system mathematically locks in the $5 clean wood band you see here. It actively and continuously avoids the punishing $60 per ton penalty that gets applied to mixed loads. Across a fleet of operations, we are talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in preserved capital, entirely secured by the sheer accuracy of the AI's classification.
Now for Section 5. Business logistics and billing.
Having secured regulatory clearance and favorable tariff classification, the platform automates all the underlying economic logistics, stripping away all the traditional friction. It all initiates with that highly structured request for quote. From there,
The system automatically links transparent CIR/CIL levy pass-throughs directly to the client. It also integrates complex carbon dividend tracking, allowing 9.5 to retain the cork value while passing the operational savings on to the client, and ties everything into an automated, decoupled net 30 billing cycle with HST seamlessly included. It is a brilliant, closed-loop economic system managed entirely from end to end by the Digital Refinery.
Finally, Section 6, Circular Bioeconomy Leadership.
Through this exhaustive orchestration of hardware, software, and trade compliance, a much larger geopolitical achievement is realized. By successfully operationalizing these cutting-edge AI models to bridge this chaotic gap, 905 Wood isn't just optimizing a localized supply chain. They are definitively and aggressively securing Ontario's undisputed industrial leadership within the rapidly expanding global circular bioeconomy. They've built the exact infrastructure required to take a massive environmental liability and refine it into a premium industrial asset.
And why does this matter on a macro scale? Just look at this data. Canada currently accounts for over 14% of Michigan's imported landfill volume. Relying on increasingly expensive and legally hostile foreign landfills is a complete dead end. Deploying advanced localized diversion systems like the Digital Refinery is absolutely essential. It is a fundamental requirement for establishing long-term ecological, logistical, and economic sovereignty for Ontario.
Which brings us to the ultimate realization from today's explainer. As we face rapidly shrinking landfill capacity cliffs, escalating cross-border tariffs, and unforgiving regulatory scrutiny, the true question for heavy industry is no longer if you will adapt, but when. How quickly can your supply chain adopt the Sentient Bridge to guarantee your survival and secure your commodity status in the bioindustrial future before you are permanently trapped by the massive inefficiencies of paper manifests? That's the billion-dollar question you need to be asking yourself today.